I pushed the button. I want to introduce the first presenter. Rick Frederick is a theater artist. He is an actor, director, designer living and working in San Antonio, currently serving as the managing director of Attic Rep, the resident theater at the Tobin Center for Performing Arts, our new neighbor, with strong roots, is this right? In the visual arts. Rick approaches theater making as a sculptural form. He has performed and or designed sets, costumes, props, and sound for companies in San Antonio, New York, Chicago, Detroit, Greece, and Russia.
Yeah.
Okay. Please welcome Rick Frederick!
I need a box. I know as soon as I press this bar, I'm done for. First one. Yes, I do. My mother used to say that, "You look big on stage." And I'd say, "Mom, I am big on stage." That's all. All right, let's give this a try. Here we go. Theater is dead, or at least it's deadly, or so says the theater great Peter Brook. We have no meaning in our rituals anymore. Well, today I'm an actor and I'm a theater artist, and had I known that theater was already dead, I wouldn't have gotten very far. But fortunately, I was a visual artist first, and this silly, little, shy Catholic schoolboy wasn't at all theatrical. He just questioned religion and wondered about the emptiness of its rituals. All right, so I did have theatrical moments in my youth in the basement of my friend's house trying to capture the splatter, blood, and sweat we saw in Rocky movies, or lip-syncing to the cast album of Jesus Christ Superstar as we whipped each other with shoestrings dipped in ketchup. But this was just playing between friends, and I was Catholic. But this high school marching band geek desperately wanted to be spiritually connected to something that he didn't understand, religious exclusion, because of his intrinsic nature. So I became invisible and hid behind a camera in a dark room of a photo club. It was more comfortable to observe the life at a safe distance. So photography taught me composition, but clay taught me the visceral pleasure of working with my hands. I took classes here at the Quabic Pottery in Detroit. These classes were with adults, and they didn't care who I was or what I was. They just cared about art, and they taught me to pursue it. While in the pottery, I was creating nihilistic art. I met an artist who I looked up to for his ability to not only work in clay, but wood and fiberglass and metal, and I perceived as anything. I asked him how, and he told me, it's about what you want to create. You just have to master the medium to do it. So off I went to art school to study ceramics, and then fiber design, then fashion design, and I dabbled in dance. I was mastering mediums, but wasn't sure what I wanted to create or what I wanted to say. I wasn't finding connection or a way to connect. Already had abandoned religion, so what was there? The turning point for me was working in a ceramics booth at the Michigan Renaissance Festival. I was introduced to real-time performer-audience exchange, and I didn't venture much out of the booth, but it was right next door to the tightrope walker, and he took me under his wing, and I learned how to master the tightrope. But then I discovered that I had to master learning how to talk, so I was forced out of my shell. The astounding thing was that people wanted to listen, and they thought it was good, so I watched every performer I could, and I studied what they did, and I realized that the medium I was now adapting was myself. I was learning how to be seen, and I performed in the streets all over the country until I realized I just didn't want to entertain. I wanted to explore this connection of performance with the audience, so I dropped out of art school and went to school for theater. And to my surprise, I learned that the great teacher Sanford Meisner says, it takes 20 years to make an actor. It didn't matter, I wasted so many years already, what was 20 more? I was struck at an audition for this play where a woman to play my mother warned me that she was going to drink me in during the audition. Not knowing what she meant, I was shocked and thrilled as she became a mother and took me along as her son. We shared an energy in the moment of transformation, an energy that I had never felt. And from that point on, I knew that that was what I wanted to do. After college and arriving in Chicago, I hooked up with a European repertory company, a company focused on Jerzy Grotowski's belief that theater should focus on the very root of the act of theater, actors co-creating the event of theater with its spectators. Theater for me became an act of secular communion. I was home. We looked for ways of disarming the audience, to find a new way in, a way of connecting and not simply just entertaining. We were a group of artists turning over every stone, and I found meaning in the collaborative act of creating theater. This was a ritual I understood. This was theater I was sure that was not dead. During this time, I solidified my interest in the visual arts with my growing proficiency in performance, and I learned to work with hair. Whatever it took, I designed sets and costumes applying my discipline as an actor to support the work visually, and exhausted every resource in the name of creating theater. But one question remained: why the hell am I doing this? Am I just playing in the basement with my friends? So I gave up. With age comes burnout and doubt, and such lofty pursuits can be tiring and expensive. Love brought me to San Antonio, where I was determined to leave this pursuit of theatrical community behind. But I met Roberto Prestigiacomo, who invited me to work on a theater that would challenge the audience. Oh no, here it comes again. And I had been off the stage for 4 years. But I had found that I was doing the best work of my career. It dawned on me that I had reached the 20-year mark. But it could be that it took me to come to San Antonio to become an actor. You see, as a novice, I was immersed in the tricks and the wonder and transformation of the lost track of the search and the meaning. And the early years were about me. But on the plus side of this 20-year threshold, I came to accept my abilities as the foundation of the craft and not the end. As I and many others have, Jerzy Grotowski asked, why do we sacrifice so much energy to our art? And he answered, not in order to teach ourselves, but to learn with them what our existence, our organism, our personal and repeatable experience have to give us. To learn to break down barriers which surround us and to free ourselves. Free from the lies about ourselves which we manufacture daily for ourselves and for others. To destroy the limitations caused by our ignorance, our lack of courage. In short, to fill the emptiness in us, to fulfill ourselves. Art is a ripening, an evolution, an uplifting, which enables us to emerge from darkness into the blaze of light. What I have come to realize that theater is an art that does not need to exist only in New York or Chicago to be good, but wherever 2 or more people are gathered. Wherever they are gathered, there is a connection, and that connection, if respected, brings meaning to its ritual. In closing, Sanford Meisner said, life beats us down and crushes our souls, and theater reminds us that we have one. But today, most actors simply want to be famous. Well, being an actor was never supposed to be about fame and money. Being an actor is a religious calling because we've been given the ability, the gift to inspire humanity to think about an act. You think about that on your way to the soap opera audition. Thank you. Go to the theater.
Thank you. Testing, okay. Now this is the part of the presentation where I get to ask embarrassing personal questions that may have come to your mind, and to have you elucidate further on, first of all, why San Antonio? How did you get here? Okay, that's a good answer, all right.
That was going to be
crude. You're supposed to answer these, but that's all right, I get it.
That was going to be crude. I fell in love.
It's a personal thing, okay. And now, moving on from there, since we are in one of the most beautiful theaters restored here in San Antonio, and you're at the Tobin now, what is the state of theater for San Antonio? We're growing, you have Attic Rep there.
Yeah.
Is it a quantum leap for the Tobin Center to be here?
I think it actually is a quantum leap, and that leap began probably several years ago, because in 2005 when we started Attic Rep, there was a handful of people who've been practicing theater here for years, for generations actually. And then little by little, more and more people started forming companies and started working and actually creating a community that shared ideas and were willing to take on challenges and found audiences that were interested in seeing the work.
And when is your next presentation there, your production, and do you need actor types?
Yeah, we always need actor types. We have a full season at Tobin, and right now we are running Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf with Gloria Sanchez. And David Connolly and Tyler Keyes and Sarah Nixon. It is running its final weekend, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at 8 p.m. and Sunday at 2:30 it will close.
And you can get more information at, atticrep.com?
atticrep.org.
Okay. Give it up for Rick Frederick, atticrep.org. Thank you very much.